Hey guys, or whoever decides to waste their time in quarantine to tune into this 10-ish minute spiel about whatever this is supposed to be about. And obviously for the most eloquent slideshow of stock images, or at least that's what it is in my opinion, because that's what it actually is. Anyways, the coronavirus is a pretty scary thing now, isn't it? Yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have all started taking precautionary measures and stuff and stocking up on food. Funny I mentioned stocks, actually. Gotta make sure you sell all those too, just in case our stock market and economy actually pretty inevitably crash. Sorry, just bronchitis. It's okay. Also, just as a side note, saying ACT gives me PTSD from the notorious college qualification exam and super accurate measure of intelligence and future success. So, I will be saying adaptation of critical thinking throughout the entire video. Anyways, on to some actual content. Before I get into the 3 tenets, I just wanted to say, what even is critical thinking? Well, for those curious enough, critical thinking can be split into 4 different definitions. First, critical thinking is obtaining knowledge and understanding through the questioning of our surroundings. Secondly, critical thinking is using our past experiences to determine logic and reasoning when encountering new situations. Thirdly, critical thinking is going against our biases to think clearly about a given object or situation. And finally, critical thinking is thinking beyond your personal feelings or emotions to come to a clear and concise conclusion. A few examples of critical thinking in our everyday lives that we may see is, let's say, a team of scientists working with great precision through a complex experiment or a complex operation or something in an effort to gather and analyze data. Another one might be a creative writer organizing ideas for the plot of a story and attending to complex motivations and personalities of these fictional characters, maybe even personifying the sun.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da. Preparing the Krabby Patty!
Well, not exactly. For the sake of keeping that necessary, absolutely 100% necessary clip in this video, you can sort of compare the setup of a Krabby Patty to the setup of my video. So the buns and the burger, the meat itself, will be the tenets, and then the toppings and such will be the examples. So the first one that I'm talking about is appreciation of continued differences. And this first example is a clip from the movie The Blind Side.
Does Michael get the family discount at Taco Bell? Because if he does, Sean's gonna lose a few stores.
He's a good kid.
Well, I say you make it official and just adopt him.
He's gonna be 18 in a few months. Doesn't really make much sense to legally adopt.
Leanne, is this some sort of white guilt thing?
What will your daddy say?
Before or after he turns over in his grave? Daddy's been gone 5 years, Elaine. Make matters worse, you were at the funeral. Remember? You wore Chanel in that awful black hat. Look, here's the deal. I don't need y'all to approve my choices, all right? But I do ask that you respect them. You have no idea what this boy's been through, and if this is going to become some running diatribe, I can find an overpriced salad a lot closer to home.
Leanne, I'm so sorry. We didn't intend to...
No, we didn't, really.
I think what you're doing is so great. To open up your home to him, and honey, you're changing that boy's life.
The continued difference being addressed in this clip is most obviously race. Now, Sandra Bullock was being made fun of by the people in her community for taking in a homeless kid who was of a different race than they were. She decided to look over that continued difference and take him in as a human being rather than someone who was alike, or rather different. My second example comes from a children's book that I actually used to read as a kid. Yoko's story continues over several books in the series, from writing her name, finding her way, and show and tell, but the one that I'm going to be discussing is the original Yoko. In this book, Rosemary Wells talks about a cat who really likes sushi. Yoko is so excited for lunch until her friends seem disgusted when she opens her lunchbox. She feels ashamed and embarrassed and doesn't feel like playing during recess anymore. Her teacher then decides to host an International Food Day to broaden her students' cultural appetites. This lovable story puts an amazing spin on accepting cultural and social differences. The second tenet that I chose to talk about is acceptance that you can be rejected in your quest for certainty, absolutism, and totality. The first example is from a movie called The Ice Princess. Okay, spoiler alert. Casey falls during her performance, and because I don't really have much room to give my narrative on this example, other than here, she accepts that, yeah, there's going to be hardships, and she's going to fall on her path to become an amazing ice skater. In the previous clip, Casey accepted that she was going to fall from time to time, especially when she wears new shoes like that. So she took that into account, and since there's nothing you can really do about that, you're always going to fall. She integrated her experience into her physics project and started to work on her path to totality or absolutism, whatever it may be.
My own hypothesis on the application of physics to the required elements of competitive figure skating. Now, I am going to increase the centripetal force by tucking in my arms. This will increase my moment of inertia, so I will spin faster. I will increase the height of my jump by applying more force to my toe pick.
You know, you look kind of hot.
Shut up! I'm gonna start off with a bad one. For the before shot.
Yeah, that pretty much blew.
Okay, now you're making me mad.
Good.
The third and final tenet that I chose to discuss is open to alternatives. My first example is from a very popular genre of YouTube videos, the 5-minute crafts. When I said popular, I meant popular. These 65.3 million subscribers that apparently come back every day for stuff like this, obviously, they're open to alternatives. They see a whoopie pie in their cupboard and they don't want to eat it like normal. They're open to an alternative. So they watch that video and toss it in the microwave and boom, alternative. Memes have become a very big part of our culture today, especially through social media. And my second and final example for this video is from a 2013 meme.
You have a better idea?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a better idea?
Yes, I do.
Minecraft Cito, where you need to survive all day and all.
Yeah, if I had to hear that, so did you. In the specific problem that they were facing in this show, Rigby had a better idea than Mordecai, so Mordecai was open to the alternative. Thank you for watching and listening to my take or my interpretation and examples of the 3 tenets of adaptations to critical thinking that I chose to discuss.
Minecraft Cito, where you need to survive all day and all night.